Alright, what is up, guys? SDF just put out a new announcement, which means, well, you can just put it out. I mean, you kind of just put it out. Anyways, there's a new announcement, which means free content for me, so I get to make a new video. So, as you see here, they will be testing starting gear only games for about 3 days before the next patch and wipe. And it'll be going live in about 8 hours from now, from when I'm recording this video, so 9 p.m. This is Eastern time, so, it's whatever time Eastern is for you. It's when it's going live. And you can enter the normal game modes with only starting gear. Junk grade. This may be adjusted during this period, and the high roller ante will be adjusted as your gold. Also, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this right now, which is something that I just realized that I don't think they're considering. Is junk grade is gray and below, and normal games means everything, right? Well, pickaxes start at white rarity. So if you want to go mining, sorry. Hope you find a pickaxe, buddy. But anyways, so pretty much how this is gonna be, it's gonna be whenever they had the gear cap before, it's gonna be the exact same way. Is you can only go in and like junk tier items, so like default kit basically, and anything you find in the raid, green, blue, purple, whatever, you can use during that raid, and you have to take it off after. Oh, wait, also, now that I read this here, let me. You guys always complain about having gameplay, so I'll put this on there. And yeah, you probably can't hear the voices. It's whatever, but you can probably like. Actually, maybe you can't hear the voice. Let me turn it down a bit. I don't want you guys. I don't want to be talking over myself. Just throw some gameplay up in the background. So basically, like I said, you're gonna be able to take that. You're gonna be able to use the stuff in the run. And once you take it out, you can't. You have to take it, unequip it. See, that's something interesting. Is let's say, for example, I go in with a man, that's so weird. You can only take junk quality meds and everything in too, because like I haven't really thought about this, right? I kind of took it at face value. I'm really thinking about the specifics, and now that I am since I'm recording this video, it's so weird. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna change it to like white or green rarity. Personally, I think it needs to be green rarity. However, with how it is, I mean, it's cool. I don't get me wrong. I've been if you know me and like you followed me for even like an extended period of time, I've been preaching that norms need some sort of change. For example, I've been preaching either a gear limit or what I think norm should have. There's two things I think they could do. Either one, you add like a beginner dungeon, which is just the normal dungeon, but bring back the under level 15 queue. So let's say that gives Crips 3 queues. There's normal, there'd be the under 15 queue, so like the beginners for Crips. Then you'd have normal Crips, which is what we have right now, like the one that you can play right now, and then High Roller. So then new players have somewhere to learn. Players that don't want to sweat in High Roller can go queue norms, and then you have the sweats, which is HR, right? Just 3 queues I think would be fine. And then have the beginner dungeon be like up to like green rarity or something, like gear. So by the time you're 15, you can go norms, and then you can get up to purple rarity. Then if you want to, you go high roller up to legendary and unique rarity. I think that's pretty fair. I'm just gonna say I think that's pretty fair. And that is a suggestion I've put out there before. But anyways, that's just the suggestion. I want to talk about what we do have. I think it'll be. I mean, obviously they said they're just testing it for 3 days, so I don't want to get like, oh, awful idea, shouldn't do it. I'm fine with things being tested. I I think, like I said, at face value, it has several issues that they'll have to change. One being like some of the things I just mentioned, heals, pickaxe, stuff like that. Like that's stuff that will have to change absolutely. And I'm sure they will. I'm sure tomorrow, or like the day after they like first try it out, they'll like, okay, increase to white rarity, and they'll probably increase it to green rarity, and it'll probably stay there. I think blue rarity was a bit too high. If you played with blue rarity items, you should know that like you can get really good blues that feel no different than really good purples. One really big thing, for example, is craftable gear. You look at like Wolf Hunter legs, for example. Wolf Hunter legs are literally the best in slot for almost every class. The only class that doesn't use Wolf Hunters as their best, excuse me, is Demon Clad, which are also a blue craftable item because those have magical healing for clerics and warlocks. But basically, literally one of the best pieces of gear you can get in the game will be on a blue item. So it's like, you can have some really insane full blue kits that are way better than stuff that you would ever find in HR. And that's what people were doing. People literally were just min-maxing blue gear to go norms. And it felt basically no different. However, if you do it with greens, like I mentioned before, greens are much harder to get bissed out because you can only get one stat roll in them. Yeah, you can feel stronger. However, greens make you sacrifice something. Because, like I said, you only get one roll. For example, you can get a stat, but you can't roll damage. You can get armor rating, can't roll a stat. That type of thing. Which, overall, like I said, I do think that would be ideal, and I do think that's what they're going to go towards. However, like I said, this is it's a good step. It's a good step. It shows that they are trying stuff for normal players, which is what I'm sure everybody's always wanted. Because the thing is, to have a healthy game, you have to have a healthy casual player base. Like balancing, or like it's fine to balance the game, right? And like around, like, I don't mean balance it around sweats in the sense of like, what we do is the meta, and you have to like nerf or buff around that. I mean, generally speaking, we're gonna like be more familiar with the meta, but I do think like there, to an extent, you have to cater to a casual player base. That's what happens with any game. Is if you don't have a casual player base, it's gonna die because the amount of casuals will always be way higher than the amount of sweats, and like that's how it works. Because the thing is, like, the people that are sitting here grinding this game for multiple hours a day, every day, like, they're not gonna be a lot. Like, sure, there'll be a decent amount. Hell, I mean, I might even go up to like 10% of the player base is sweats, but you can't survive with 10% of the player base. Like, if let's say the game, like, all the casuals quit right now, the game would have like 1,000 to 2,000 concurrent players. If you consider 10% of the current players as sweats, and only sweats stayed, like that's not going to keep a game going. You need more players than that. But anyways, I think that's really it. There's not a whole lot to go over regarding the gear change. I mean, like I said, I think it's cool. I think one really big problem though, like let's say they don't increase it, right? Like, let's talk about I guess I can talk about the hypothetical here. Let's say they leave it how it is, and let's say, or they only increase it to white, right? Because obviously whites allows you to bring in the other rarity heals and like a pickaxe to mine, like I mentioned before. Let's say you only can bring in whites. One really big issue with this becomes there is a giant disparity between norms and HR. I don't mean in terms of like the gear you can get, but in terms of the gear you can use. So let's say I'm a new player, right? Level 1 starting off. I play up to level 15. I'm going to have probably a lot of greens that are just sitting in my stash because I can't use them, right? Keep in mind, because I can't use them because the gear limit's white. I can't use all these greens. And then I hit 15, and I either now use my greens in high roller, or I don't use them at all. So we get this really, really big disparity, which pretty much makes this mid-tier gear, which is great, like green gear, like a full green set. That's what I'd call mid-tier, right? Like, in terms of like the overall rating of gear. Like, it becomes pretty, like, okay. Like, but then this is pretty much just becomes completely useless, and you can't use it whatsoever. And that's not good. You always want to have your gear in a spot where it's it's always relatively useful, or like it has some use at some point. And I got distracted looking at this. Look at this body block, by the way. Look at this guy, absolutely gapped. Yeah, I got distracted looking at this. Look how many times I'm hitting this guy. Hold on. Actually, you know what? This is completely irrelevant to the video. Look how many times I hit this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep watching. 6. Okay, those 2 missed. Okay, keep in mind. Okay, that was 6, right? That was 6. It's not done yet. And watch this. Just watch this. He hasn't been healed. 7, 8. It took me 8 swings to kill that guy, by the way. I just want to, like I said, completely irrelevant to the overall state of this video. It took me 8 swings to kill that motherfucker from my arming sword. And I'm in a good kit right now, right? 8 fucking swings to kill that guy. Like I said, once again, completely irrelevant to the video. But if you think the strength change wasn't needed, look at that shit. Keep in mind, he almost fucking one-shot Ken. Like that. I think it was a one-shot. Was it? I'm actually curious. How many times did he hit him? He hit him once or twice. One hit did this much. And that's not even a headshot. That was a body hit, by the way. And Ken has 117 HP on this wizard kit. So this hit right here did over 60 damage. And then he hits him again. And actually, I think the bard hit him there. But anyways, like I said, completely irrelevant. Moving on with the video. Like I said, it's a good change. I am here for it. Obviously, I'm here for anything that makes norms more balanced for the normal players. I do think what we are about to see, though, is I'm almost positive like 90 or not 90%, but I'm pretty sure most of the people that have gear are about to quit because this has happened before when they increased they added the blue gear cap to norms. Oh yeah, look at this guy's gear. Look at his gear. Look at his fucking gear. Look at he's wearing loose trousers and a padded tunic. He's got like probably 25% PDR. Once again, off topic. But whenever they added the blue gear cap, what they did was the people that had, like the good purple gear that were going in norms, they literally sold their purples to buy blue level gear to go in norms because they refused to go high rollers with their gear. Even when they had the gear to do it, they refused to do it. They would only play norms. So literally, they would rather sell their really good purple gear and go norms or buy good blue gear and go norms to bully people than go high roller with the gear they have that should be in high roller. That's hilarious to me. So I'm almost positive these people that are like, these lobsters you see in normals, full purple, full legendary, bist out people in norms, they are gonna quit until the wipe. I mean, it's only 3 days. I mean, why wouldn't they? I'm almost positive that's what they're gonna do. If they don't, I'd be surprised. Like, I would like to look at I actually want to like pay attention, look at the player count before the patch, and then look at it like a day after the patch comes out, just because I'm curious to see how much it drops and how many of those players did it. I'm sure it won't be a crazy amount, but I do think it'll be a decent bit. But anyways, like I said, I think that pretty much sums it up for this video. I don't have a whole lot to talk about regarding this matter. I think it's pretty straightforward. I'm ready to see how it works out, and like I said, I'm pretty confident they'll increase it to at the least white gear within the next, day. And then probably green gear the day after that. I don't think they're going to go above green gear. They already tested the blue gear lobbies. It was seen that was way too much in terms of, balance for new players because people just were going in, twinked out builds for blues. I don't think they'll try. I think the blue gear cap is pretty it was like a test that just didn't work out. I'm pretty confident in that. However, I think green gear cap could be exactly what the game needs. I think ideally, like I said, I think ideally they add the tutorial dungeon. I think that would probably be the best thing. Bring back the 1 to 15 queue because see that's actually something that's really good. So the issue before, right, with the 1 to 15 queue, because I completely wasn't even thinking about this. That's why I talk about it now. So the issue before with the 1 to 15 queue that people had was if you queued with anyone above 15, it would put you in the normal dungeon, right? It would put you in the norms. A funny fact, I missed that barbarian there. I don't know if you guys saw it on my left. I ran past him. I did not see him at the time. My chat told me later, hey, you walked past the barbarian. I was like, what? But anyways, yeah, like I was saying. So the thing is, if you queued somebody above level 15, you would get put in the normal lobbies. So what people would do is they would give their teammates, they would queue with their teammates on higher level characters. They would give them a bunch of super good gear, like a full purple set for a cleric, right? They'd give this cleric a full purple set, and then he would, they'd extract, and then he would go into 1 to 15 lobby and a full purple kit and just roll people because he's got gear way better than you should have at that point, generally. So I think that's why adding a 1 to 15 dungeon, a tutorial dungeon. And I mean, obviously the problem with that I'm mentioning now would pretty much be that you have to lock it. So you have to play in there until you're above level 15, for example. But I don't really think that's much of an issue. I mean, sure, oh, I want to play with my friends. So, I want to play with my friends, and my friends are level 17 or 18 or whatever. Then just have them make new characters. Or, not that big a deal. But I mean, obviously, I think there's issues with that. I think it's a very complex issue, and it's very complicated to find out a real fix for it. I think no matter what happens, there's always going to be some people that are unhappy with whatever it may be. But one thing I really dislike that I've seen a lot of people suggest is adding a bunch of different queues, and I don't think that's good. The more queues you add for a game is the more queues you add, the more spread out your player base is. Unless you have a ridiculous player base, 50 to 100K at least, having your player base spread out over a bunch of different game modes is not good because then it just feels you don't have as many players as you want. Ideally, you want to have as few queues as possible so you can condense your player base. Let's say, for example, that's why I never wanted HR Goblin Caves, and that's why I want Ruins to be a part of, that's why I want Ruins to be back into the normal map, so that you condense that player base more, you have more players in there. Just think of all, the super geared people that go Ruins. If Ruins wasn't there, was only or was added back into Crypts, those geared people would be in Crypts. That type of thing. Same with Goblin Caves. Goblin Cave. I mean, I don't mind Goblin Caves being there. I don't think HR should have been. I think HR Goblin Caves is a mistake. I think it sucks. And I think if Crypts were there, maybe those players would be trying to play Crypts. They'd be finding people to play Crypts with. I know that's a really big issue that most people say is like, oh, I played Goblin Caves because I don't have anybody to play Crypts with. Okay, well, it's a social game. It's an online multiplayer game. Part of the game is about making friends, meeting people, finding people to play with. It's like an MMO. It's like you don't load into an MMO with 50 guildmates like ready to go and you start. I mean, maybe you do. I mean, I guess some do for transfer mode games. But generally speaking, your average player like me, if I load into an MMO, I'm not loading in with 50 guildmates that I'm making a guild with. I load in and I meet people and I join a guild and I start playing with them. I meet people to play with. That's how it works, and that's what you're supposed to do. That's what they want you to do. But anyways, I've rambled on for too long. Thank you guys for watching, and feel free to leave your comments down below. As always, I do appreciate it, and I do read every single one of them. Even if I might not reply to some of them. Because honestly, I'm gonna be completely honest right now. If you type a really long comment and you're just disagreeing with me on like everything I've said, I probably won't reply because it'll just take too long to explain why I disagree with you. And basically everything I'm gonna type, I've just said in the video. But I do read it. Every single one, even the hate comments, those are my favorite. I have in my Discord channel, I have a channel that literally just says YouTube comments, and I post all the funny hate comments in there. Me and my friends laugh at them. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed, feel free to like and subscribe. As always, I'm close to 2,000 subscribers, and that is pretty awesome. So yeah, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.